Australian Border Force officers in Melbourne have pulled aside this American graphic designer after his vague answers to their questions at the primary line raised some concern.
He originally stated to the officer he was here for a holiday, but he also might do some business. Like, he wasn't 100% sure of what he was going to do, which obviously why the officers decided to thoroughly check everything.
He has 2 large suitcases, which seems excessive for his intended 5-day stay, and officers begin a full baggage search.
So you don't have anything else on you that we need to worry about?
As a precaution, a swab is taken from some of his belongings to check for any traces of narcotics. And as the test is carried out, back at the bench, the man makes a surprising admission.
The passenger has told us that, yeah, he does occasionally use cocaine and maybe at parties and things like that, and he does smoke marijuana, who seems to be a fairly frequent user.
The seed of doubt about this passenger continues to grow.
I don't know what else to say,
And as the swab test returns a positive result, officers are increasingly convinced this man has something to hide. Border Force officers in Sydney are examining the belongings of this passenger who has just arrived from Indonesia.
Oh yeah, Martin.
Who's Martin?
My boyfriend, my sponsor in here.
She claims that the reason for her trip to Australia is to holiday and visit her Australian boyfriend.
How long you known Martin for?
1 year
So where did Martin meet you?
in Bali.
Okay.
There are concerns the woman is here for more than a holiday and may be planning to breach her strict visa conditions. Officers will now question her with the help of a translator.
How long do you intend to stay for?
Dari visa,
Maybe 1 or 2 months.
Okay, interpret. How much money has the lady got to support herself in Australia while she's here?
dia yang cover.
For my day-to-day living here, my boyfriend will be looking after my expenses.
But have you got any bank account? And if so, have you got any money in that bank account?
$200
$200.
The woman does not have sufficient funds for a 2-month holiday, and it's her second visit in recent months, raising officers' concerns about how she's supporting herself.
Did she work while she was previously here in Australia?
Tapi saya tidak mau.
Yes, I was offered, but I didn't want to.
The passenger is not aware that Border Force have located messages on her phone that indicate she may not be telling the truth.
Interpret, there's a lot of messages that were recovered from her phone saying that she did work last time she was here in Australia.
Biosecurity officers are concerned a passenger has made a false declaration and may be carrying some items which could threaten Australia's agriculture.
We've got a Chinese student. She's not declaring anything, but when all the bags went through X-ray, it looks like there are organic materials in the bags. Some of them looks like high-risk items, so we're gonna go ahead and inspect the bags.
Have a little look. Okay, this one is seafood.
But it's dry.
Even though it's dried, it's still seafood and it needs to be declared, okay?
The package is labelled as seafood. However, when Officer Robin opens it, she's surprised to find the contents are not as advertised.
This doesn't look like seafood to me. You've actually put it in seafood wrapping.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've had it professionally sealed.
Okay, keep it fresh.
To keep it fresh, okay.
The woman has been caught out with undeclared food items. It's now up to officers to work out what the unusual items are,
Okay.
what risks they could be carrying.
Can you describe to me what that is? Because at this stage I have to inspect that further because it doesn't look like the picture on the front here of seafood.
occasionally uses marijuana and cocaine. And a swab taken from his belongings has returned a positive result for both substances.
So THC and cocaine, which obviously it raises our suspicion, but he'd already sort of previously explained to us what readings we may get. Again, we don't necessarily take everyone's word that's sort of presented to us.
The man is travelling with a large amount of luggage for his 5-day beach holiday. The contents are checked and appear legitimate. But when the case is taken to be x-rayed, the investigation suddenly takes a dramatic turn.
There's a little bit of density there. They shouldn't really have these dark areas of organic matter under it, really. It's pretty simple as that.
Suspecting there may be a concealment of narcotics, Officer Daniel inspects the lining of the case, but he finds no obvious signs of tampering.
All the original screws are in place. There look no damage to the bag whatsoever. I don't know if there's a board under it.
The passenger is giving nothing away, and officers have no choice but to drill into the base. And if they find any illicit substances, he won't be spending any time on the beach.
Can you describe to me what that is?
Biosecurity officers are working to establish what this passenger has in her suitcase.
Inspect that further, because to me it doesn't look like... This looks like it's been packed from the shop.
Yeah, I took
She went to a shop and get it commercially done.
Okay. And is there any reason they put it in a seafood? And she told me it was seafood.
So this is the bag for seafood. It doesn't have seafood inside.
Okay.
The passenger fails to explain what the unknown items are.
It's definitely not seafood. So it is a concealment because it's in a seafood packet.
With one unidentified item,
Not seafood,
Officer
okay.
Robin must now investigate what else the passenger is trying to pass off as seafood.
We're dealing with something that's wrapped in a fresh leaf here. I'll have to cut that open and find out what's inside. Can you describe what's in this? So there's rice.
and some pork.
Pork, okay. Pork is not allowed.
Pork has the potential to be a major threat to Australian livestock and can carry an extreme risk such as foot and mouth
It's all the
disease.
same. This is definitely prohibited. You cannot bring that in to Australia.
The woman's suitcase is packed full of nothing but groceries.
This is,
Seems,
to me, that doesn't look like fish.
yeah, it's no fish.
No, it's no fish. I think she knew that all this was in there, and I do believe that she does know that it's not allowed.
Her failure to declare means she now faces the possibility of a heavy penalty.
She will be in for a shock when she finds out what's coming in the next few minutes.
In Sydney, Border Force officers suspect this woman may be intending to breach her tourist visa, and they want to know if she worked during her last stay.
When you were here in Australia last time, what did you do day to day whilst you were here?
Mobil antik di Newport. Saya
I went to see an antique automobile exhibition in Newport, and I went to the Opera House too. I didn't go to many places because I wasn't familiar with it.
The passenger's unusually short list of tourist activities raises concern about what else she was doing while here on her previous 3-month stay. And information from her phone leads them to believe she may have been working illegally.
Interpreter, there's a lot of messages that were recovered from her phone saying that she did work last time she was here in Australia. While she was here last time, did she work, yes or no?
tidak.
No.
Although she says no, Officer Ron now confronts her with the contradicting evidence.
There's a message here you're asking, are there jobs in Sydney? And then I'm interested to work here.
Enggak.
No.
Well, that's from, so you didn't send that text?
Penawaran yang belum saya ambil.
Yes, but that was only an offer, and I did not accept it, and I did not take it.
Okay. There's another text here that talks about your resume. and a person asks you, are you looking for a new job? You answer yes.
Ada perusahaan yang
No, I did not ask for it.
Well, interpreter, the text very clearly says you're still applying my CV, meaning still applying for work. Your friend said CV and you said yes, resume, and then your friend said, are you looking for a new job? And you said yes, in Sydney. It can't really be much clearer than that.
Border Force officers in Sydney are concerned that this woman is intending to breach the conditions of her tourist visa by working in Australia.
Your friend said, are you looking for a new job? And you said yes, in Sydney. It can't really be much clearer than that.
Another message on her phone confirms she worked illegally during her last stay.
Now, another text you talk about work at Chatswood before. You've actually said work at Chatswood before.
no, before I want work in Chatswood, but cancel.
Well, it said you worked
Yes.
at Chatswood before. So
Yes, but cancel,
okay.
not
Okay.
not work because the boss not want give me visa.
Well, I have to be very honest with you. It looks to us that two things. One, you possibly worked previously while you're in Australia, and you've come back this time to look for a job again.
The woman insists she's not intending to work this time, so officers need to know who will be supporting her for her stay.
Are you married now?
No,
Okay.
no.
Officer Ron consults his supervisor, who has new information about the passenger's relationship with the person whom she claims is her boyfriend in Australia.
And it says, sponsor is just a friend, no interpersonal relationship to applicant.
Okay.
This one says visit her friend again. It doesn't show that he's in a relationship with her, which she claims.
Yeah.
The woman is about to find out her entry into Australia is now very much in the balance.
My concern is that she's not a genuine visitor. She's come to Australia for other purposes than what you would consider a normal tourist would undertake in Australia.
We have the same here again in the fish package, all the same. And we'll open this just to see if it's...
但是因为上次我问过别人，他说可以。
Biosecurity officers continue to uncover the array of high-risk food items concealed in this woman's luggage.
Okay, so you got lots.
Because it's very delicious.
It's very, yeah. You can't buy that here?
I can buy it, but they taste different. This is homemade.
It's not as good.
They tell me to bring here to eat because there's nothing to eat.
Nothing to eat in Australia. Okay.
The passenger will lose all 7 kilograms worth of homemade pork rolls. And unfortunately for her, there's more bad news.
Because you brought all this into the country today, I'm going to fine you $420 infringement for bringing this in. Okay.
Can I just drop this and don't
Dump it?
vanish?
No, we're going to destroy it because it's not allowed into the country.
Yeah.
But I have no alternative but to fine you $420.
Now that she's offloaded her restricted food, her first stop might be the supermarket to grab some Aussie produce.
She's learned a hard lesson today. The end result is she won't do it again. I'm pretty confident on that.
Border Force officers in Melbourne suspect there may be narcotics well concealed in this American traveller's suitcase.
All the original screws are in place. There look no damage to the bag whatsoever.
An X-ray of the case has revealed the base is covered in unexplained organic matter. And as the passenger watches on, Officer Daniel drills through the shell to see what is underneath. A white powder is extracted.
Yeah, Well, shouldn't be in a bag. You shouldn't get white powder out of it. So because it's a white powder, mate, in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do whatever you gotta do.
I've got to test it, right?
Sure.
But just because there's a white powder under the lining of the suitcase, I'm just going to give her your caution and rights.
I mean, I'm not...
That's fine. So just listen to the officer.
You don't have to do or say anything. Anything you do or say may be used in evidence. Do you understand that?
The substance is taken for testing as Officer Melissa questions the man about the suitcase.
So apart from where you brought it from, is there anything else you can tell us about it?
I bought the luggage downtown LA.
Yeah.
I talked about my trip. He says he's got a special deal. I took it. It was $100 for both.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of what's happening right now.
Okay.
I'm at loss of words right now.
In the examination room, first defender laser technology will be used to try and identify if the white powder is a narcotic. The passenger is becoming increasingly anxious.
Just sit. Sit and breathe. Have a drink. Just breathe.
All right, we're just going to test that powder in the bag.
Do what you must.
All right.
This is all new news to me, man.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
His health will be closely monitored. While in the testing room, the results are in, and there's no good news.
I've tested the white substance. It's presumptively told me it's positive for cocaine. Okay, so now we've got some procedures and things that we need to go through.
Sure, anything.
All right.
Anything.
Okay, so it will be a couple of minutes.
As he continues to deny any knowledge of the concealment, attention turns to the man's second suitcase. If the X-ray image is the same, it's possible there's another concealment. Officers believe that this passenger is planning to work illegally in Australia, but before her visa is cancelled, she is given a final chance to plead her case.
Bertanggung jawab akan hal yang akan saya perbuat jika saya.
I am willing to make a statement and promise that I will not ever work in Australia. And I believe my boyfriend, he can also be responsible and to guarantee that I will not work. And if I am found to be working in Australia illegally, then I'm happy for the department to cancel my visa. And also for the time being, I don't have any intention to work in Australia.
Unfortunately for the passenger, her response is less than convincing.
We have to look at the evidence we have before us, and we've seen those text messages, and they're quite clearly talking about work, okay? That's all basic we can go on, yeah?
Officer Ron now takes the final step.
I've made a decision to cancel your visa.
Bisa tolong disampaikan sebelum saya.
I don't feel that I'm at fault.
Well, as I explained to her, the decision's been made. I've made the decision on the evidence we have.
She may not like it, but the evidence indicating she may breach her visa conditions again has sealed her fate.
Masalah dibatalin, nggak apa-apa gitu. Cuma saya mau pacar saya dihubungin.
I want to speak to my boyfriend and I want him to bring with him a lawyer.
Okay, as your visa has been cancelled, you no longer have a visa. I have to tell you that now you're officially detained under Section 189 of the Migration Act. She was a bit upset that the visa was cancelled and she wants to call a friend about the situation, but she'd come to Australia and I believe she had other intentions of being a genuine visitor, so cancelled her visa.
Australian Border Force officers have X-rayed this 32-year-old American man's second suitcase.
The other suitcase is very similar.
They are now confident that both cases contain cocaine, and he is escorted to a private interview room while the substance undergoes further testing.
He was not aware, or he doesn't know what's in there. He's not sure how it got there. He seems a little bit more in shock. That can happen because obviously whether you know it or not, obviously the situation becomes quite real and they understand the significance of it.
While he anxiously waits to learn his fate, officers in the tool room test the white powder using a narcotics indicator kit.
And we've just concluded our testing using the NIC test process. Both our samples came back with a positive. Essentially, we were looking for a blue with a slight shade of pink through. 100%, fairly definitive.
It's a strong blue, indicating the purity of the cocaine, and the case will now be handed over to the Australian Federal Police.
We've handed the matter over to the AFP. There seems to be a pretty significant quantity within the bags. We've x-rayed them empty. We're probably guessing nearly 6 kilos between both the bags, so a pretty significant sum of cocaine.
The man insists he had no idea the cocaine was in his suitcases, but it's now up to the Australian Federal Police and ultimately the courts to decide if he is telling the truth.